Today, North Korea is one of the most isolated and mysterious countries in the world. It is known for strict government control, massive military parades, and nuclear weapons that often dominate international headlines. But North Korea's isolation did not suddenly appear overnight. Its roots go back decades, to war, foreign occupation, and a divided peninsula shaped by global superpowers. To understand how North Korea became what it is today, we need to go back to a conflict that technically never ended. North Korea is often described as one of the most secretive countries on Earth. News coverage frequently focuses on missile tests, military displays, and tight control over information. But the reality is that the country's isolation has deep historical origins that stretch back more than a century. For centuries, the Korean peninsula existed as a unified civilization. It shared a common language, culture, and political system that connected people across mountains, cities, and rural villages. The idea that Korea would one day be divided into two separate nations would have seemed almost unimaginable. That unity began to unravel in the early 20th century. In 1910, Korea was annexed by Japan and placed under colonial rule for 35 years. Many Koreans resisted through underground movements and guerrilla groups, including Kim Il-sung, whose anti-Japanese activities helped build his early reputation. Everything changed in 1945, when Japan was defeated during World War II. After decades of colonial rule, Korea was suddenly free. However, this freedom brought a new problem. Two powerful nations were emerging as global superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. As the world began dividing into competing political systems, Korea quickly became caught in the middle. After the war, the Korean peninsula was divided at the 38th parallel, with the north influenced by the Soviet Union and the south by the United States. What was meant to be a temporary administrative boundary soon became something far more permanent. By 1948, two completely separate governments had formed. In the north, a communist state was established under Kim Il-sung. In the south, a separate government emerged, with strong backing from the United States. Both governments claimed to represent the legitimate authority over the entire Korean peninsula. The division had now become one of the first major flashpoints of the Cold War. Then, in 1950, the fragile situation erupted into open conflict. North Korean forces crossed the border into South Korea, beginning the Korean War. What started as a regional conflict quickly escalated into a much larger international confrontation. Forces from the United Nations, led primarily by the United States, intervened to support South Korea. Meanwhile, China entered the war on the side of North Korea. The result was one of the most destructive conflicts of the 20th century. Cities were bombed, infrastructure was destroyed, and millions of civilians were displaced. Families were separated as the fighting moved back and forth across the peninsula. After 3 years of brutal combat, the war ended in 1953 with an armistice agreement. But importantly, no official peace treaty was ever signed. The Korean War never formally ended. After the conflict, Kim Il-sung strengthened his rule in North Korea, introducing the ideology of juche and tightening control over the country, which became increasingly isolated. Power later passed to Kim Jong-il and then Kim Jong-un, forming a rare hereditary dynasty in a communist state. In recent years, North Korea has focused heavily on strengthening its military and developing nuclear weapons. These actions have drawn international attention and led to global sanctions, which have further deepened the country's isolation. But the story of North Korea is not simply about secrecy or missiles. Its path was shaped by colonial occupation, the rivalry of global superpowers, and the devastating consequences of war. the division of the Korean Peninsula created one of the most unusual political systems in the modern world, one whose impact still influences international politics today. And as long as the Korean War remains technically unresolved, the tensions that shaped North Korea's creation continue to echo across the world.